Then Faithful stepped forward again, and said to Talkative, "How is it with you?" Talkative, "Very well, thank you. I thought we would have had a great deal of talk by this time." Faithful, "Well, if you desire, we shall begin now. Since you left it with me to state the question, let it be this: how does the saving grace of God reveal itself, when it is in the heart of a man?" Talkative, "I perceive then, that our talk must be about the power of things. Well, it is a very good question, and I shall be willing to answer you. First, where the grace of God is at work in the heart, it causes there a great outcry against sin. Secondly, Faithful, wait a moment, let us consider one thing at a time. I think you should rather say, saving grace reveals itself by inclining the soul to abhor its sin. Talkative, why, what difference is there between crying out against sin, and abhorring of sin? Faithful, oh, a great deal. A man may cry out against sin out of principle, but he can only abhor sin by virtue of a holy antipathy against it. I have heard many cry out against sin in the pulpit, who yet can tolerate it well enough in the heart, house, and conduct. Joseph's mistress cried out with a loud voice, as if she had been very holy, but, notwithstanding that, she would have willingly committed adultery with him. Some cry out against sin, even as the mother cries out against her child in her lap, when she calls it a naughty girl, and then begins hugging and kissing it. Talkative, I perceive that you are trying to trap me in my words. Faithful, no, not I. I am only trying to be precise. But what is the second sign whereby you would prove a work of grace in the heart? Talkative, great knowledge of gospel mysteries. Faithful, this sign should have been first, but first or last it is also false. For knowledge, great knowledge of the mysteries of the gospel may be obtained, and yet there be no work of grace in the soul. Yes, a man may have all knowledge and yet be nothing, and consequently not be a child of God. When Christ said, "Do you know all these things?" and the disciples had answered, "Yes," he adds, "Blessed are you if you do them." He does not lay the blessing in the knowing of them, but in the doing of them. For there is a head knowledge which is not attended with a corresponding practice. He who knows his master's will, and does not carry out those instructions, will be severely punished. A man may have the knowledge of an angel, and yet not be a Christian. Therefore your sign of it is not true. Indeed, to know is a thing that pleases talkers and boasters, but to do is that which pleases God. Not that the heart can be good without knowledge, for without knowledge, the heart knows nothing. There are two very distinct kinds of knowledge. There is a knowledge which rests in the bare speculation of things, and there is a knowledge which is accompanied with the graces of faith and love, which puts a man upon obeying the will of God from the heart. The first of these will serve the mere talker, but the true Christian is not content without obedience. Give me understanding, and I shall keep your law. Yes, I shall observe it with my whole heart. Talkative, you are trying to trap me in my words again. This is not pleasing conversation. Faithful, well, if you please, propound another sign which shows how this work of grace reveals itself in the heart. Talkative, not I, for I see that we shall not agree. Faithful, well, if you will not, will you give me permission to do it? Talkative, you may if you desire.